Hello, everyone, and welcome to CineQuest video. Today, we're going to be talking about the new Danny Boyle, Alex Garland continuation of a franchise 28 years later.
7, 6, 11, 5, 4, 17, 32 the day before.
All right, Bryce, 28 years later, have you or a fan of any of the previous films?
I love the first one. I'll be honest with you, man. 28 weeks later is the second one, right? I don't remember it too much. I don't know if I saw it, to be honest with you. It's really weird.
Interesting.
I guess I need to rewatch it, or if I have, it's been a long time since I've watched it, so I don't remember too much about it. I absolutely love the first one with Cillian Murphy. This may be a very stupid question, but has it really been 28 years since the first one came out, or is that just like...
I don't think so. I think it's
Okay, I was like, thank God. I was like, am I really that old?
You are.
Oh, well, I mean, I am, but...
Okay, so 28 years later is, again, directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland. I wasn't aware that they actually did the first one together. I've only been aware of Danny Boyle and Alex Garland as separate entities in the director. I mean, what was that movie we saw that was directed by Alex Garland? The war one?
Which one? The war one? Oh, Civil War?
Civil War, right. And I saw...
Yeah. Did he also direct Warfare? Or did he not direct Warfare?
I don't know. Did he direct Warfare? I don't know. He did Men, which is also a very controversial film. Have you seen Men?
Controversial? The one with where the guy gets birthed out of himself at the end?
Yeah, that one.
Or sort of? Yeah.
I would say...
Why was it controversial?
I would say it's controversial more so because a lot of people didn't get it, one, and a lot of people didn't like it. It's a strange movie.
I just know it had a lot of, like, of course, all the... in the whatever you call manosphere stuff, or people in that, like,
what it seemed
probably
like,
didn't like it because why are you trying to say more men? So, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I did see it.
Yeah. Just for this,
I didn't know he directed that one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I saw 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later just before watching this one, and frankly, there's really no need to watch any of those two prior to this one.
No,
because they kind of like sum everything up in the very beginning of this film, and since none of the characters from the previous film come out in this one, there's really no need because we're in a whole new story, a whole new set of people. But this one does star Jodie Comer as it Isla? Aaron Taylor Johnson as Jamie. Is it Ralph Fiennes or is it Ray Fiennes as Dr. Kelson? People say Ray Fiennes, but I'm seeing the name and it looks like Ralph.
I think it is Ralph Fiennes.
I don't know.
Now I think about it.
Rocco Haynes as young Jimmy.
Yeah, it's Ralph Fiennes.
See, but I hear people say Ray Fiennes. I don't know. And let's see, where's that kid? I mean, like, I see the cast here on IMDb, and like that kid's not even showing up. Where's that other kid? The kid that plays. There he is. Jesus, this kid should have like a higher billing in this particular IMDb page. Spike, Alfie Williams. I think everyone did a great job as far as like their performances. But in this particular scenario, we have like a whole set of like a village on a kind of a isolated island, and we follow a father played by Aaron Taylor Johnson and Spike, the kid. They go off into the mainland, and the son or the kid is only like 12 years old, and apparently like going off into the mainland is like a big deal, and they usually only allow 14, 15-year-olds to go off into the island, I guess with supervision in this case. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is kind of like advocating for his son, saying that he's like ready to, he's already ready. No matter his age, he's good to go. I guess he believes in him enough. But there's a whole other elements to this film besides just that kind of thing, a huge element. One of the things that we do get is like the whole father-son dynamic going off into the mainland, and like the whole rage virus zombies is only like I guess the first third of the movie, right?
Yeah,
I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we kind of move into that. We transition into a son who's kind of trying to save his mother and taking it upon himself to be the adult to kind of risk their lives for the betterment of his mother. And then the second half is like the kid kind of growing up and accepting things he can't control. And then we get a really wacky ending, which we'll get to. But we'll go into spoilers after we talk generally about the film. So, Bryce, overall, what did you think of 28 Years Later?
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. The cinematography was done really well. I mean, some of these like scenes they set up were like, I want to say unnecessarily cinematic, but like they were like very done well. And I didn't realize that you're the one who told me that it was all filmed on iPhones, which is wild to think.
From my understanding, they did most of their shots on iPhones, but like to be fair, there's like a rig, a whole like expensive rig attached up to the iPhone. It's not just somebody who's like vlogging and just turning the phone around and like has one cheap stick and is just kind of like going around with just the
I don't know
lenses.
about all the rigging and stuff. The only one I saw was that.
Yeah, it has like a whole.
Didn't look all that. It looked like a big piece of cardboard, or that they're like a piece of plywood that they had modified so they could carry it, and they had cut like a big U shape in it.
Yeah.
That's the one I keep seeing. Now I don't know. They probably have all kinds of different rigs there. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've seen various.
I don't think you can just you ain't getting that like just with like a little whatever.
I mean, you probably could. I mean, considering how advanced the cameras on the phones have become, I mean, I would say I'm pretty sure people have shot like whole ass movies on just like an iPhone that's not heavily rigged up, it's a real thing. But I've seen pictures of like where they have like actual lenses attached to like particular like iPhone rigs and stuff like that. But I mean, this is kind of like the modern day version of whatever they did back in the first 28 Days Later with I think it was like a Canon like digital video camera, like that's the handheld ones.
Yeah, it was
that was probably less rigged up than the iPhones were in this one. That one looks like
watching 28 Days Later, or like if you go back and watch it, it looks very like homebrew, low budget compared to this. And this is, I mean, obviously it's much bigger budget, but if it's just being filmed on like iPhones, it's even with that, it has like almost like a way better look.
Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't say. I mean, it does have a way better look than what they did with the.
I mean, the original looks like it's like at 720p or something. Very pixelated, like all that kind of stuff.
It's very of its time too. I will say, like when was that film? Like early 2000s,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's like that was the way of making movies look real, like edgy looking. I guess like I don't know how to explain it. Like you're trying to make, this is so edgy and like homebrew, not even homebrew. It's like it's not like a like a found footage film, but it almost gets to that. Like it almost has that feel to it to some degree. You know what I mean?
That's like one of like the almost of the angles of this movie, like where they really talk about how it's filmed, because they did that with the first one. That wasn't necessarily something they did with the second one, because then that one's more like traditional type of movie. Because it wasn't Danny Boyle, it was a different director, and that one's more of like an action zombie flick.
That's what I heard. The second one,
yeah. I like both of them. Don't get me wrong, but they are very different films. As this is also a very different film from those two. But like I said, the performances I thought were done really well. The kid did an amazing job trying to like navigate these emotional aspects of like you would only expect from like actual adults and stuff. Like he has to take on these roles. He has to, he kind of like, his father is like trying to like almost seem like his hero, like a superhero kind of character to him. And then he realizes his dad is flawed. He realizes that maybe his father is not the person he thought he was. And he has to take it upon himself to be the man and do what he feels is best for his family, aka his mother, in this case. And of course, like I said, towards the end of the film, like there's some emotional depth he has to go through, and he has to see other things as well, different virus rage, quote unquote, zombie characters that have very interesting characteristics to them,
Yeah.
which was kind of like initially like an off-putting thing. I got used to it after a while, but I mean, it was undeniable.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You can.
took up
Let
the
me just
whole
say this:
scene,
like
you know,
it's such
it was
a
really
thing on screen.
hamming up the scene.
It's such a thing on screen that you can't just not notice it. It's not something you
Yeah.
like your eyes deviate. You see all these things going on, and
Yeah.
then you're just like that. You know?
I don't know, man. I was when I saw it, it was a late show. It was like 10:30, or actually a little bit later. No, it's 10:30, and but then there wasn't that many people in theater, and I just thought I'm surprised more people aren't like like laughing at the huge face of Dong on the scene. It wasn't, or like
Well, no,
I don't
because
know, or maybe amongst the you know the ladies in the audience, be like,
yeah, right. Can you believe it?
he can rage virus me any day or something like I don't know.
Well, the thing
But I hate
is,
to tell you all, spoiler alert on this, it was fake. It's all prosthetics.
oh god damn! I was expecting it to be real.
I know.
But what did you as an overall film? Like I said, it's also done really well. We get more emotional depth and character. I guess character development in this one. It's more of a coming of age type of film. And again, like I said, we get like a wacky ending at the end. But not to give away right now, Bryce, what did you think of that ending?
I knew something was coming up. I just didn't know what. I had heard that there was gonna be this like crazy tone shift. So I was like, I already kind of figured it was gonna be something like comical, or if you will, in a way. But
Did that throw you out in the movie a little bit?
I
or
don't
no?
want to. No, I kind of appreciated it. I like the way it was done. It was like over the top, and I like the character. I want to see more. I just wanted to see more of him. Like I just wanted to see more of that guy. I'm like, why doesn't they should have brought that further back in the movie and had him be in there a little bit more? But I get it. The whole point of it, it's a little bit of a teaser. It's like it's like that. Like, bam! Now you can't wait to see what's going on with this next one. Like, what's the tone going to be on this movie?
Well, I went into it not knowing exactly what was going to happen at the end, but like I just felt like as the music was progressing and like seems to be getting louder and louder and louder.
I didn't know.
I didn't know necessarily.
It was like real abrupt, and I was like, okay, well, I will see what it is. But I had a feeling it was going to be funny. I don't know why. I just had a feeling it was going to be like.
Well, no, like when I was in the theater, and like it was we're getting to that point. I had like this confused look on my face. I was like, what the hell's going on in this? Like, and said, like you said, like it was honestly, it was just a drastic tonal shift. And I was just like, I wasn't expecting it at all.
And I kind of wish I hadn't. I should have just not looked up any review. Well, I didn't even look up a review of it. It was just like somebody had said something on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, I kind of wish I hadn't even looked at that, because I would have liked to have just been like fully like, I wonder how I would have reacted to it if not, I didn't know anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how I wish I had gone into it. But same person, so I think I told you this story, but the same person that I saw that from, it's an English, they're a British account, and it's funny because she was saying that this movie is like she was looking at it almost like a metaphor for Brexit and all that, because you know they're like all quarantined and from the rest of the European Union, if you will, I guess. So I was like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of interesting. I wonder if like watching this movie as a British viewer, it has like a different feel to it. You know what I mean? Sort of like a satire of what's going on in your country.
What did you think of the Ragers, the virus zombies characters? We had like various evolutionary version. They've evolved up until this point. And what did you think of some of those?
I like that they had variety. I always think that's cool in zombie movies, or well, I guess you want to call them zombies, but I always like when they do stuff like that. I don't know if you ever played any games like Dead Island or whatever, but when you like, they always have like these different zombie characters that do different things, and it just makes it a little bit more. I guess it's less traditional.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's just less traditional zombie, but it gives some variety. It makes the threats a little bit like varied and not just the one time thing. Yeah, I like the big like almost the corpulent slug type zombies that are just crawling around, that they're like blind and stuff. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
they had alphas. I like that they had like a leader, like they almost had like a hierarchy, and they had like a leader.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cool. I mean, I was like, I appreciate it.
It was interesting to see. Like, and I think they did this kind of like in they started doing this at least in like Land of the Dead or like Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, where like the zombies did start to evolve, and like later on, like they were getting smarter. And I guess in this case, it took 28 years for them to like kind of become more tribal again, at least in these particular versions, because from my understanding, they're still human. They're just infected with a virus. They're not necessarily dead characters, because like none of them really necessarily die, because they immediately just shift over into like this rage, having this virus on them. So
almost
they're technically
like
humans.
Fast-acting rabies or something.
Yeah,
you don't die from.
Yeah, because I mean, normally in traditional zombie movies, people die. They have to physically die entirely before they like get reanimated again. And these kind of just turn instantly. As soon as like the virus hits them, like it takes like almost like seconds for them to turn into this character or whatever. Okay, well, overall, Bryce, what would you give 28 years later? I mean, would you recommend it?
Ratings?
I don't know if we're going to. I went back to ratings like instinctually, even though we're not technically doing that. But I mean, like
I don't.
I mean, is it something like? Do you recommend people go to watch it? Do you?
Yeah, I recommend go see it. So I don't know if this movie was filmed or like released in IMAX. So I can't say. But if it was, I would recommend seeing it. It was. I wasn't down here, which sucked. At least I didn't see any IMAX screens, but I would definitely see it in like XD or IMAX if you can, because it's definitely got some like I said, great cinematography, shot really well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. That being said, I would ask, have you heard all the hate this movie's been getting recently? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's interesting. What's the deal with that though? I don't know. It's like
I think personally, it's just that people expected a certain type of movie, and they didn't get that.
I guess.
That's the only thing I can think of, because like I said, this movie kind of is, when you break it up in kind of like the 3 acts, the first act is the father and son going out to the mainland. You get like that whole rush, the tense zombie chases and all that kind of stuff. That stops there. And then it goes on to like this other part where the son's trying to figure out a way to help his mother. And then of course he has to risk himself and going out to the mainland and like trying to like find like the doctor guy. And and he's also has to like deal with the fact that things that he's been told are either not true, and that he has to find his own way or find his own like truth, I guess, in this case. And then at the end of the movie, he has to kind of like comes to terms with him like growing up like way too fast in this case, because he was just 12 years old, and like you said, they expect them to be like 14 or 15 to go on the mainland, because he has to like kill these things, and like that's basically what they're doing. They're going to kill, like he's like taking him hunting. That's what he's doing. So and even in the case where like they're out there, you still see like his childhood innocence. Whenever he's trying to do things, he's scared. He's kind of he can't really shoot in like properly in like high tense situations. And then like I said, like towards the end, he has to kind of grow up like really fast and stuff like that. But I think people wanted more of that first part through most of the movie. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's fact for most people, but, and I mean, on top of that, the tonal shift probably like threw people off, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, who is this? Why is this? And why is it doing this? Like, again, this is my opinion. I really don't know for sure. But
yeah,
I highly recommend going to watch this movie, especially if you've seen the other two. Or if you're a fan of Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, like their writing and the directing style. And it's also just cool to see like a film that's been done like on something that any of us kind of have in our pockets, you know, and that it's more so now than it has ever been to be easily accessible to make a film, regardless if you have like a rig that's like $1,000 rig on a phone. Your camera on your phone is good enough as long as the story is good enough and or you at least can.
Well, let's also not forget all the millions of dollars of effects that they have too.
Yes, like, but also to be fair, you can do a lot of that shit for free.
That's true.
DaVinci Resolve is a free software and it's a very powerful editing software. All right, and you can also download. You can also download plugins.
I meant more
and
the
shit.
practical stuff though, like the.
Yeah, well, but even if that was the case, some people use. You have to use your creativity to get a lot of those shots. I mean, like, I'm sure some people might not have like the actual funding for makeup effects or any of that kind of stuff, but I mean, if you're creative enough and it kind of stretches your creativity in a certain way, you can make stuff happen and make your zombies and the blood and all that kind of shit. You just have to find a way, and there's always a way. Especially if you're doing like a short film and stuff. If you're doing like a major film where you're shooting on location or some shit. I mean, most people, whenever they're starting out, shooting places that they know or houses of people that they know, you know. That's what I did when I did my little short films and stuff. And mind you, those are shit. I would never recommend anybody see that.
Available on all streaming services right now.
Yeah, especially on Netflix. Go check it out. I mean, the camera I had before looked like shit compared to like what the iPhone can do now, you know. And I didn't know anything about lighting too. I mean, you can do a lot of things with just a camera and some decent lighting. And I'm not even saying like expensive lighting. You just know like where to position lighting and how to like use it to various degrees and stuff. And all that stuff you can find on the cheap, you know. But it's all accessible now.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I have an iPhone 11. It's not very good, but I'll tell you, like, I've messed around with like the newer ones that came out, and they have the cinematic mode and all that, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than any sort of like those old school cameras with the VHS that you had to carry on your shoulder and stuff. You know, I mean, if we had this, you know how many people would have been filming shit back in the day? And that's because people were carrying those heavy things around. They're fucking walking around with this, hey, say hi to the camera. And they're like, whoa, what's up? And they're just using these fucking things. But anyways, go check out 28 Years Later. And I mean, if you want to check out those other two, those other two are streaming, I think on Tubi or something. Right now, we're going to go into some spoilers. So you've been warned. And I'm pretty sure there's spoilers all over the internet, probably on TikTok and shit. So what we're about to do is not anything that you can't find anywhere, like just like randomly scrolling through your feed. I would just to start off, let's start off from the beginning. We have like Aaron Taylor Johnson taking his kid out to hunt. We find out later on after like we see like there was a great scene with the alpha when he's chasing him through the waters in the evening down that little path. That was pretty intense. I liked that one a lot. The whole angle of him like finding out his father's not who he thought he was, because during the celebration that they're having for his son, the father's kind of like taking it on himself to kind of like be almost like a bit of the center of attention also, and using that to kind of celebration to kind of get his rocks off with a woman who's not his mother. And I mean, there's a scene where the kid kind of sees him like a silhouette of him going down on some chick in like an alleyway, like putting his head under her dress and stuff. And then he's just kind of like, oh God, what's going on? Yeah. And again, his father was telling like all these like kind of tall tales of his son, like almost facing down the alpha. And the son's just looking at him like, that's like, none of that's true. And the father's just like, yes, everyone drink. My son's awesome. And I don't know. He seemed like troubled by that, and of course, seeing his father cheat on his mother and stuff. I think there was a part that there was a bit of a connection with me with this film, and it's one reason why I like it a lot. Was because there was the mother. We find out that the mother has cancer when they go and find the doctor. That was kind of like an emotional scene, but there was a bit of a slight tonal angle that kind of like threw me off just a tad. And I think you had mentioned it too, Rez, where we find out the doctor is not as crazy person. Like he kind of like reveres the people that have died before.
But he did a great job, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, for sure.
As that character, I liked it.
Because you see,
I think you're referring to the when they find out the mom has brain cancer. And then I guess they decide to. It's just weird because again, man, I know what they were trying to do with it, and it was getting like emotional, and when he found out, and they're all like crying and stuff, and he realized he can't do anything, but then it was like, I don't know, they just like that guy comes up, he's like, what the fucking, the guy with he's got the blow dart, just like, I don't know why, I was like, he's just like shoots the kid, in the ass, and then. And he's all like, oh, he's all tripping balls. And it's like, why do they need to do that? Like, I don't know. Maybe I get it. They calm the kid down.
I think it's just to it's kind of like a sedative, for the kid.
Yeah. But then they do that to the mom. And then, well, by the way, I should preface this. The doctor character, he makes these memento moris with all the bones of people who have died, infected and non-infected. He has this big tower of skulls, which I'm sure everyone's probably seen that by now. Even if you haven't seen the movie, it's like on the cover practically. But the Swedish guy that saves them, or sort of, he's like joining them for a while. I guess he saves them. We see that he gets the head. The Alpha rips the guy's head off. Doctor gets it from the Alpha. Apparently, the doctor has like a relationship with these things too, because he kind of he keeps shooting the Alpha with like heroin and some other thing, and it's like all stunned. He gets the head from him. We see him boil it in this big like steamer thing over a fire, and then he cleans it off, and he bleaches it, and then he puts it on this pile of thing. Well, so I don't know, man. It took me out of it. It was like the mom finds out it's cancer, she's dying, and she's like, oh, he's telling her, Jimmy, or not Jimmy. I'm sorry, I said Jimmy, but Spike, there's many kinds of death, and some deaths are better than others, and they're like, oh, and then shoots him. He's all like, all fainted out and shit, and then he's like, then they take the mom again. The mom's just there. He's like sneaks behind her, and then she's like, oh, and he walks, and then he comes back with the fucking skull and gives it to the boy in the morning. I was like, that was just like, dude, this is weird, dude. It's like, that was my mom, dude. You just boiled her fucking skull.
Yeah.
He's like, put it on the memento mori, Spike. The bestest place of all. And of course, he walks the top and puts it on. But I don't know, it's just like weird. I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, I got my mom's skull and facing it towards the sun. I don't know, man. I know it's meant to be heart, endearing, and in some ways it was, but I don't know. It's just that was that kind of took me out. I was like, well, here's he just straight boiled the
here's
head.
My perspective on that particular scene. Yes, it gets very emotional whenever, for instance, when we find out that she has cancer, and that one moment where she says, "Does it hurt?" or and she's like, "It's always hurt," And then we find out okay, I'm assuming as he's leading her away after they've shot him with the tranquilizer, that he's gonna kill her and do the whole thing. Even though I'm expecting it from this scene because that's what he does. When he comes walking out with the skull, I was just like, this was way too fast for me. I felt like we probably should have seen the process a little bit more. Elongate that scene a little bit more to kind of as an audience to kind of get more emotionally invested, because it goes from one thing, we see her kind of walking out into the woods, and then he shoots her.
Well, my whole thing with the Ray is get this. Okay, I understand that the kid, he's been around death all his life. That's what it is to be on that aisle or whatever. It's
but it really hasn't though. That's the thing. He really hasn't.
Well, but think about this. Now, they don't show it, obviously. But the thing is, so what is he, when we see him do the scene with or when we see him boil the head of the Swiss Army guy, Swiss Army guy, well, he's Swedish. I'm sorry, Swedish Army guy.
Yeah.
And he boils the head. He got the head. So when he kills the mom, that means he's got to decapitate her and fucking you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just not. It's if I was a kid, I'd be like, damn, you just did this to my mom. I don't even gonna say how she gets buried or whatever.
That's what I'm talking about. Is that I felt like we had seen the process of and it had been more there's basically emotional music of her him doing the whole process to her and I guess the boy kind of seeing it happen. Mind you, he probably I don't know how he would have reacted if seen his mom getting like dismembered or something, you know.
Yeah.
I think if it would have been more of a powerful scene whenever he brings the skull out and then the kid has to get it and put it up, because like I said, it just happens so fast in between her being alive and it's implied that he's going to do this to her. And then we just get him walking back with the skull, you know, like it's just too fast. And I felt like if there had been more sections where we had seen like the process kind of like, I'm saying like we have to see him like fucking like slicing her fucking head off or anything.
But yeah,
he
got there even before dawn broke, man.
I was just like, my guy works fast, guy. He works fucking fast.
Yeah.
I was like, how long was that tranquilizer? Like just and on top of that, just to take a few steps back from there, whenever they had encountered the alpha and he kind of pulled the Swedish guy's head off and stuff. Just before that, we saw an infected in a train and she's pregnant, which was also like kind of a strange thing. I was wondering if we were going to see one of them have a baby. We do. And she kind of like, the mom and the infected woman kind of like connect in some way whenever she's having, because like they're holding each other's hands and like she's pushing like the baby out. And then you just see like the baby's head just kind of like fall out. Yeah. And then the Swedish guy is just like, like kill her. He just like, and then of course the woman who's infected like instinctually turns and tries to like get at the mom, and then the Swedish guy just like shoots her to shit. You know? Yeah. And then we find out that the baby itself is not infected, and that's another aspect to this movie that I wasn't expecting. To where I was expecting the Dawn of the Dead remake baby, where they uncovered and just like, it's called.
I thought so too. Yeah. I wonder. I guess I'm sure that the baby will. I mean, I don't know if they're going to continue the storyline and the Bone Temple, the new one that's coming out, but I wonder if it'll have a big sort of factor into the new one. Although Spike does leave it with the colony. And
he does, yeah. But you know, the one of the things is that I thought it was kind of strange, and I questioned myself or questioned the decision to give Spike the baby that he's holding while he's tranquilized. I was like, wasn't there a point where he's just gonna like drop the baby? Like he's just gonna like let loose and just drop, but he just sits there with the baby like this, you know, the whole time.
How do they feed that baby's really resilient too? Like it never cries, hasn't been fed since it's been born because she's not producing milk. So who's feeding the baby?
They specifically say that, or at least the doctor says, the baby's gonna need milk, but it can survive on just water for a few days. So by the time Spike gets back to the village, I mean, it's like probably a day or two or something like that. That's why he hangs it up. And then of course they can kind of feed the baby itself. And he gives him, he writes a letter to his father, letting him know that he's not coming back until he like, I guess, finds himself out on the mainland in a very emotional way or whatever.
Now,
but
do you get the sense that that baby was the alphas?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Isn't wouldn't the alpha be?
He seemed all sad when the mom was dead.
Yeah.
And he like really wanted to get. I thought
it was like.
But why wouldn't the baby be infected? Dad's infected. I'm assuming the sperms and the mom's infected. Now the doctor he brings up a point to say, well, it's the miracle of the human placenta or whatever. And I was like, bullshit, because if that's the case. Why is babies are born with like AIDS and shit, or like, and babies are born, like addicted to crack? So it's like, why is
that may be true, Bryce. But I guess those are like chemicals, and I guess virus itself is. But there's also, let's make this clear too. Like, there's also the fact to say like two little people don't necessarily have little children. They can have full-grown adult children. So like. You know,
all right.
The miracle of the placenta.
Some research on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie. Let's be real here. You know? Like we need to make sure that we can get some facts on these viruses.
But you know
and
what?
Stuff.
And to your point earlier, these aren't zombies. They're just infected people. So it's not like the body's dead. Like, because I was like, well, how is that working? But I was like, oh wait, well, they're not really zombies. They are alive.
Yeah.
But then that also throws me off, because then how are these like the slug dudes, like they look like they're dead, like they're swollen corpses. Like how are they still kicking?
Here's the thing. Maybe they were dead. You know, maybe they did die in some way, and then they got infected. You know, maybe or maybe they were about to die and they didn't fully like change over, so they're just like, or maybe they just the virus raided a fat colony.
A fat camp or something.
Yeah, the virus raided a fat camp or something, and then that we got these people.
The only thing I can think of is like that's like maybe it was like a waterlogged corpse. That's what it looked like. It looks when they fish a body out of the water. It's
yeah,
all, like,
I mean, maybe
I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe it got into the water like fucking cabin fever type shit or something. I don't know. But,
probably.
I'm
leaning more towards I'm leaning more towards the virus infected a fat camp and
fat camp. Yeah,
just like
the Weight Watchers like club and shit or something like that. Well, I'll tell you this: the virus apparently has wonderful male enhancement properties. So they need to bottle that and figure out how to just get it like to where it just affects really rages the dong.
But the thing is that like not all infected males had a donger that size.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Like, were they becoming alphas because of they made it seem like, was it just some guy who happened to be like a huge dude?
I think so, probably.
And then he was infected, or did they become that later on? Because he made it almost sound like,
it's like maybe it's just since the way the person is as a human, he's a big, strong person. He becomes this alpha character, and then they take off his pants and he's like rocking a 28-incher, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely in charge."
Well, I mean, he is getting all the women pregnant. I guess, so there you go, man.
Well, of course, it's like you see that it's like he's like almost like semi-erect 24/7. You know, like it's ridiculous. I've seen a lot of TikToks or like people like saying they see this in 3D, and I don't know if it's in 3D or not, but like
3D.
I don't know if it is, but like saying like they're seeing the 28 years later in 3D, and like they have the glasses on, and then they see like the fucking thing come at them, and they're fucking like
yeah. Woo. Yeah. You know what? That brings up speaking of those like the fat camp zombies. So does the mom, is that like, so the mom must have she must have been somewhat there then, because she ends up killing the one that was about to kill the boy.
Yeah, but I think that maybe
she's the one that killed.
Yeah, she is, but I think that it's just kind of like instinctual mother behavior. Because I mean, like the alleged scenarios where like they see their child in trouble, and women have like this feat of strength that kind of like pops out of nowhere, you know, that they don't never really have normally. It's just like motherly instincts. And I think that's what happened. Even though she was like sickly, she still had moments where she was her normal self. And I guess in that case, maybe she saw the thing coming. She saw it kind of about to attack her son, and she was just like, "Rawr!" You know, that happens. I imagine that's the way it goes.
Now, Ray, you did say that they were making a sequel or a remake of Heavyweights, right?
I think so, yeah.
So maybe this will be in the
universe.
28 universe.
They're all in the UK just before the virus hits.
Yeah.
That'll be the end. Like whenever they're the end of the climate, the end of like the epilogue of the movie. Whenever it's the epilogue of the movie. Like wherever like they see the end, they're like, oh, blah blah blah. And they're like, what's going on? It's the virus. No, and you see like a bald fat guy running raw, breaks all his legs.
Yeah,
he's just crawling the whole time.
That's why he has to crawl around. Yeah. God damn.
So let's talk about that ending, Bryce, because that's one of the biggest points of this movie. Even though, like, I heard some people say that they had probably think this might have worked for some people if they had kind of been like a post-credit scene. You know, you ended with Spike kind of like traveling along, and then he finds us, and then like doesn't know what to do. We see a credit scene, and then we see this whole scenario with the Jimmys. And
yeah, I think, but I think that I think it works though that way.
I do too. I mean, I like it. I like it like that.
It should, because why not? Like, why can't you take risks with your movies? Like it's jarring, but it was different. I don't see people. I mean, some people do tone shifts on movies, but like not in something as serious as this to just like straight up go like that. Why not take risks with it? I like that. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that he did that. I know it takes you out of the movie, I guess, somewhat, but I don't know. It's setting the tone maybe for the next one if they're going to do it like that. But they've all so far had different. The first one was more gritty, found footage-esque, almost like Dawn of the Dead, the remake Dawn of the Dead. And then, from what I understand, the second one is more like an action movie. And then this one's more of like a heartfelt kind of family drama with coming of age, set in like a post-apocalyptic wasteland thing.
And
maybe
to
the next one they go full like Sam Raimi type shit with it. I don't know.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Jimmy character. So in the beginning of the movie and even in the trailer, we see like a bunch of kids watching like Teletubbies on TV, and then there's they all get attacked, and this one kid Jimmy escapes. Because I guess I don't know if it's siblings or cousins or whoever it is in this particular area, they all get killed. His parents, and it's also the assumption whenever he goes to the church and he says father. I don't know if it's the priest that he's just calling father or it's like his real dad. I couldn't really tell at that particular moment. He gives him a cross. Jimmy hides. While the priest turns, and then Jimmy escapes. We don't see him until the very end of the film. And we, mind you, throughout the movie, we do see like instances where his name is written on there. But like personally didn't catch on to that because I was so invested in this father-son aspect of it. Like the whole Jimmy thing didn't even like register in my brain until the very end of the film.
It didn't register that it would be him, but I did, because I forgot. I didn't, honestly, when I first saw it, I wasn't really paying attention to the kid's name. But
that's true.
I did see the Jimmy carved into the name of the Rage,
the person,
Rager or whatever, down, and then they had the Jimmy was there on the wall. So I was like, okay, something's going on with this Jimmy thing. But did you notice when he's running away, when he gives him the cross, and he's like, when he's first running away, and then like it goes dark, the cross is like upside down?
Yeah.
It's like it like glints, it goes dark, but it's like you can see the cross glinting, and it's like inverted. So, and then as we see, of course, at the end, he's wearing the cross and it's inverted. So, is he now some kind of like Satanist? Or what's
there's the aspect of that is that like the imagery of the upside down cross or the inverted cross can go two ways, but if you're going like biblically, I think it was it Peter who was going to get crucified? It was one of the disciples, I believe.
Yeah, and
they didn't want to get.
He didn't think he was worthy of being baptized or worthy of crucified upright.
So they inverted him upside down. And then, of course, there's the whole satanic aspect that we see, like in The Conjuring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the Jimmy character shows up as Spike is getting like about to get attacked by a bunch of quote unquote zombies. I don't really like calling them that because they're not really that, but like I don't know, I just call them either ragers or what. But this guy Jimmy shows up in like a tracksuit and this blonde, like weird cut blonde fucking hair. And he was like, "Oh, we can help you out," kind of thing, whatever the fuck. And he's like a cartoon fucking character. And then he sees like this whole posse show up and like do all this like, and people, I've heard people made these comments after the fact when I saw it, like the Power Rangers aspect because of like the way it's filmed, like they're flipping and like, and I remember Power Rangers, like the way they shot it is very like cartoonish. They're flipping and they're doing all this other kind of crazy shit. And they kind of beat up the zombies or kill them or whatever. And they all have the same kind of haircut. They're all kind of in track suits. They all have like gold and shit on them. Like, that was so strange. Like
some kind of cult, I guess, or something. Yeah. But
there were some comparisons, like I said, to Power Rangers, and that the colorful track suits because of like the whole Teletubby aspect in the beginning. And the fact that they kind of had that Power Rangers kind of comparison, so to speak, because at the beginning of the film, when Spike is going to go on the hunting adventure with his father, that he grabs a Power Ranger and then leaves it behind because he's like, oh, like that's like for kids now. Like he's gonna go and do this grown up thing.
Yeah.
But like I said, tonally that threw me off. I did enjoy it though because I am a fan of, especially if it's done. I don't know how if this is done right, but it was just done at the right moment for me. That they brought
Yeah.
up these characters, and it was just like like thrown off, taken aback. And it's just a fun little tail end of the film because even the kid playing Spike is still in this very like dramatic place, and you see it on his face when he's like shaking the guy's hand, and the other guy looks like he's like doing all this like like almost like UK rapper shit.
Yeah.
And of course he's also many of the comparisons of the Jimmys are like dressed like as a reflection of Jimmy Savile, the person
Yeah,
who
that's
the very
funny,
famous
yeah,
person in like I guess in UK TV, British TV, the BBC, whatever, who was a
Yeah.
very beloved character, but then later on found out to be a real piece of shit. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine it sucks to see like some of your people's heroes downfall because I mean. I'm really glad that like, I saw that Pee Wee documentary, and the Pee Wee documentary like just showed that Paul Rubin was kind of like he's just a good person, or he was like a decent person, you know, regardless of him like jacking off in a jack off theater, you know, like like whatever kind of thing they tried to make or like pin on him wasn't true, but yeah, so like they were saying people were like I know I read some complaints about them calling back to this person, this real life person, but they were saying Jimmy idolizes this person because the rage virus took out society for him, and it ended at a certain time prior to like him finding out, like people finding out later that this Jimmy Savile person was a shitty person. So he doesn't know that about that character or that person. So like he so idolizes him because of, again, I don't understand it, but like he's like also a beloved character or a beloved person, was a beloved person in the whole sphere of British TV or something. What'd you think about that aspect?
British, man. So we don't know.
Yeah,
we can't comprehend with our American minds how Jimmy Savile was once like a beloved TV person. Just like they probably can't understand our American minds and Pee Wee Herman. Although Pee Wee Herman never had a downfall. Well, I guess he did, but
well, there were moments in
overblown.
Pee Wee's career where again they tried to like make him look like a creeper for jacking off in a jack off theater. You know?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do in a jack off theater?
But it's that's a different.
And there was a moment too where they allegedly found or they said he had like pedo material. But since he was a gay dude, he collected art like of like naked guys and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, they seem him to be obscene or something. Then they want to pin that on him too. But I mean, like this is his art that he has collected over the years, you know. That. But anyways, people always trying to like. People say to try to take people down and stuff like that, but like. There are some real shitheads out there, so you never know. But anything else you want to talk about this movie, Bryce? I mean, like, I'm excited to see the next one whenever it comes out.
Yeah, the Bone Temple. It's supposed to come out in January.
Temple. Yes, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, they apparently filmed it back to back or filmed it in sequence or at the same time almost. So like, I don't know. I thought that was pretty crazy. So it's like a different director though, right? So how does that work? Were they like, did they film it in tandem or did they just film it like back to back?
I have no idea. Well, you know what? Maybe they were, whenever they were doing scenes over here, they had that person, someone else going to do scenes over here. Like, it probably was happening at the same time. So, I mean, I wouldn't think they would do it chronologically, right? That would be weird, right? I mean, because if it's so close together and it was supposed to be like a strong, an immediate, I'm assuming it's an immediate continuation of it. they were probably like just filming like everything all at once.
That may be a new way of filming movies, like sequels and stuff. Because I wonder if that cuts down on cost. Like it just, we got everybody here. But then I would wonder like if there's any characters or actors in this next movie, like, do they have to pay them like as if it's two movies? I wonder how that works in contract. Like,
well, I would imagine like
all, like in one sequence, so we're technically going to pay.
Well, I think by contract if they sign
for
it
the other movie.
Well, you know what? No, I think like if they have a character and they have like contracts for particular movies.
I know it's so not. It's not about how much. It's not like us apps working hourly. It's like they get paid by contract. Like I'm in this movie, my face is making you the money. Like this is what I'm getting paid for.
Yeah,
I understand. I was just being like, I wonder if it's maybe like Teamsters and stuff, or like all the crew. Maybe it's just cheaper to have them, shoot it all back to back if you have it.
Well, I would imagine both movies would have a different crew because I mean that would assume that they would have to like fill in even more hours in one day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be weird because it's also a new director, so it's like, okay, I'm getting the characters from this time today or I'm getting these actors from this time to this time, and then you can have them this time to that time to direct your part of or your new movie. But that's interesting. I don't know. I wonder what the impetus was for just making it like back to back like that. But
well, I mean, I don't know if you recall, Bryce, but they did that with like Guillermo del. I'm sorry, not Guillermo del Toro. Peter Jackson did that with Lord of the Rings. Like, didn't he film like all of them? Like,
really?
Like all kind of like in a certain like time frame. Like they all were contracted, I think, for the three movies, and they filmed everything, like in New Zealand for who the fuck knows how long.
Well, that probably makes sense because it's like it was in New Zealand, and I don't know if it's like remote parts in New Zealand. So I imagine it would just make sense to be like,
I don't know.
Just instead of having to get everybody back there, let's just do it all right now.
Well, just to bring this up, the next film, the Bone Temple film, is going to be directed by Nia DaCosta, who did one of my favorite remakes in the past like 4 or 5 years, which was Candyman. I really liked her interpretation of that. I thought that was really good. Now, she does have a stain on her filmography, and that is the Marvels. So, apparently one of the worst Marvel films. And mind you, there are lots of worst Marvel films. So, I mean, I wouldn't like pin that entirely like that. She made like one of the worst. A lot of them in the past couple of years have been like total shit. So, I mean, like, I can't like fault her for that entirely. But I mean, I'm excited to see her take on this particular movie because I was excited to see what she was going to do after Candyman. Unfortunately, it was like participating in the Marvels, and that kind of reeked. But maybe this is just more her speed, who knows?
You need money, man, she needed money.
Well, I mean, like I said, I really like the Candyman, so I mean, I'm excited to see her take on another horror film. So that's good. And of course, I think Candyman, the original, necessarily wasn't like a whole remake, but like a reimagining / continuation of the original story, or the first one. Sorry,
I never saw it. Is it who plays Tony Todd's character? Huh?
you never saw it, Bryce? God,
not the remake. I don't know, man. I'm just not a big like. There's certain remakes I don't mind seeing, but I've never been a big remake guy. Like I just don't like. And I know it pissed me off the other day. I saw some fucking guys on talking about how he said the Friday the 13th remake, he loved it better than the original. And I'm just like, I guess, I mean,
did you see it? Did you see the remake of that one?
The remake, yeah, I did we did the 13th.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, not to get into a whole conversation about remakes, but when it comes to remakes, they're not always great. All right. I do have some remakes that I do kind of like a little better than, which may be considered sacrilege in the film world. Like, for instance, the remake of Night of the Living Dead that was, I believe, written by George Romero, but directed by Tom Savini. I like that one a lot better than the original, and Tony Todd's in that. So, like, hell yeah on that. The Friday the 13th remake is like a combination of like, I think 1, 2, and 3 kind of like mashed together. And then you have, because I mean, like, how long did it take fucking Jason to get to that ski mask? I think it was like part 3,
Yeah, Yeah.
And they kind of mash all that together in like the first couple, like maybe 30, 40 minutes of the movie. And then we just have Jason, like we know him now. Because I mean,
True.
I
True.
like it. I like the remake a lot. Mind you, I do like Jason X and I do like Jason Goes to Hell. Now that I've seen that one for the first time, probably one of my favorites. I really like that one. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
so
pretty
fucking
good.
terrible, but it's good. It's enjoyable. The Dawn of the Dead remake that was I think written by James Gunn but directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
That was good.
pretty
I enjoyed
I'm
that
not
one a
gonna
lot
lie.
too. And because the Candyman one, like I said, it's not necessarily a remake. It's more so of a continuation slash retelling.
Plays Candyman?
Who plays Candyman?
You never answered.
Yes, it's hold on. It's okay. See, I'm not gonna say his name because I can't pronounce it. It's you're gonna make me fucking embarrass myself here. Yahoo Abdul Mateen the second.
dare
I'm
you,
sorry. I'm
you
sorry.
bastard. Say his name.
Say his name 3
Say his
times.
name correct. Yeah.
He did a great job, but like the whole Tony Todd aspect, like because I think we see the Tony Todd Candyman kind of like his spirit kind of like brushed through and stuff like that, which again I enjoyed
Hearing you
because
read that, man, that was embarrassing.
yeah, I know.
Hearing you read that was embarrassing, man. You're all like, Dikembe Mutombo? I was like, what? It's like the center for the Atlanta Hawks is playing fucking Candyman shit.
Look, man, I'm terrible with fucking names. I am the worst at names, dude.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I didn't read it, so I probably would have fucked that up. I wouldn't.
You know,
either.
Here's the thing. I was very confident.
You're gonna tell me you prefer that one over the original with Tony Todd?
No. I didn't say I like it better. I said I do like it because it's not necessarily a remake specifically. It's almost like a retelling, reimagining of and slightly continuation of the original Candyman, like not including like the other sequels. Like it's almost like a direct kind of sequel to Candyman. Because they mentioned the lady from the first one, you know. Yeah, like it's not something that is like total remake. It's almost like a continuation of it, but not like a full on like direct sequel, so to speak. But that's why I liked it a lot because it didn't like try to just reinvent the whole aspect of it entirely.
I'm sorry. This is a complete. Speaking of like, this is a complete departure what we're talking about, but well, not really. I mean, it's not a remake, but oh my god, what trailers did you see at 28 days later or 20 years later? I'm sorry, because there was one. I'm sorry. I already noticed. The Black Phone sequel.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about how I thought this trend had died, but apparently it's still going with the slow down
song
music from the 90s or 80s, and they did that with Rooster and Black Phone. Yeah. They come to snuff. I was like, oh my, it's like, please, like, why are you still doing? I don't know. I never even saw the first. I never even saw the first Black Phone, man. But Ethan Hawke plays the. Is it good or is it worth it or?
I liked it a lot. I actually, whenever I went to Austin to see, I think I went to a concert, but I was in San Antonio the first night. I saw Black Phone at the Draft House. I enjoyed it a lot. As far as like an adaptation from a book or a short story, I have not read the short story, but I did enjoy it. And I think what sells it primarily is not necessarily Ethan Hawke's character, although he is creepy in this film or in that film, is the kids. The kids sell the movie entirely, and I think they do a great job. And I think that's what's the most enjoyable part about the Black Phone film.
Gotcha.
Now, to be fair, I wasn't sure they were gonna go with a sequel, and looks like a whole different ass type of movie. The grabber,
yeah, it's like
the grabber is like fucking Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, it was like this shit was like mixed with at least from what I saw at the beginning. It was like a phone booth with mixed with fucking like scream and shit or something. I was like, what? Well, because like he's like there, he's like, it's time for revenge or something like that. I was like, what is this? Is this what Black Phone was? I thought it was like more supernatural or something. I didn't know it was all.
Well, this one is like
Is he
takes
like a
on the
serial
more
killer? Or?
well, the thing is in the first one he is a serial killer. Like he's a human serial killer that kills children, and the thing is the children get like kind of their spirit gets locked away in the basement, and he has a black phone in there, and their spirit can kind of call and talk to whoever's down there and stuff like that. So he's talking to the spirits on this phone that allegedly doesn't work, you know. And then he ends up like killing the grabber, which is a very satisfying scene. And but now like the grabber has kind of taken on a more spiritual, vengeful spirit entity that he attacks in like
it's kind of like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, but that's why I was just like, where the fuck did that come from? Again, I haven't read the story, so I don't know that it's part of it. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go see it. I hope it's good, but I'm a little skeptical about this particular sequel. I saw another Weapons.
yeah,
Weapons.
That's the movie I'm looking forward to.
That movie is the one I want to see. Fucking see for sure.
Yep.
They came out with a new trailer. I haven't seen it, and I don't want to see it. I've avoided it as much as possible. I've seen the original teaser trailer, but the new one that came out shows a little bit more of the movie. I'm not gonna watch it. Like I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for that one and that Together movie also.
Yeah. They all look pretty good. The other movie I want to see too, which I don't know if it's going to go to theaters or not. I think it's just going to go straight to streaming, but it's kind of like in the vein of Presence. It's called Good Boy. You heard about that one?
I have not. No.
It's like a ghost story, or it has something to do with like some kind of malevolent spirit, but it's like, I don't know if it's told from the perspective of the dog. There's like a dog that this guy has a dog, and it's like kind of trying to protect him from like a spirit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just sounded kind of interesting, like the way they talk. I don't know. It looks pretty good, but I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's going to streaming just to Shudder, or if it's like a lot of Shudder movies have been going to theaters lately, so maybe this one will too. But it kind of reminded me of Presence. It's kind of like subverting the whole like haunted house thing. But I don't know. It just sounded like an interesting concept. So I was like, I'll take a look at it. I fucking didn't get to see Dangerous Animals, and now it's not in theaters anymore. I'm pissed, but oh well. That was my fault. I should have gone. I don't know why I didn't, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'll see it on streaming. It's all good.
Oh no, you're gonna. The thing is, I mean, I hope you love this movie, but I hope you regret the fact that you didn't see it in theater. Even though I kept telling you to go fucking watch it in theater. I hope you love this movie.
Have some good shark kills, because that's all I care about, man.
Oh, see, I just watch the fucking movie, dude. I'm not gonna tell you any more about it. But let's bring this episode to a close. Remember, if you like these conversations, we really appreciate if you contribute as well. I mean, we want to hear from everyone else's opinion. Anyone who watches to the end, we really appreciate you. Subscribe if you like. We would really appreciate that also. But more so, we want a community with those of you out there who love horror or just movies in general. Let us know what you think. And if you have a movie recommendation, we're looking for disturbing movies. We're looking for disturbing movies to watch. And we do have a list of some. Watch
these movies. When are we gonna start?
Man, like life happens, things, schedules, like we don't have a proper studio and stuff like that. You know, if we had like a particular thing, then maybe it would be a lot easier. It would be, but we're full-time working podcasters, and that's it's quite a task sometimes. I mean, I could just sit here and watch movies all day. I totally would, but sometimes I do. Right. Sometimes I spend I'll spend like a day watching 4 fucking movies, all in one day. So
watch more, get more views, get more likes, get more interactions, so that we don't have to work anymore. We can just watch movies, and you can hear our thoughts on it, and it's more content for you guys.
More content for everyone to enjoy. All right, we'll see you next time in the next review. Probably going to be like Jurassic Park, or I'm probably going to be the only one watching Megan 2.0. So you'll see a single.
You know what?
A review
Maybe
from
I'll
me.
go see it. Do I need to watch the first one? Am I going to be lost?
You probably need to watch the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'll watch it. Why not?
Yeah, why
Everyone
not?
seems to love Megan. I guess I better get on it. So
Get on it, bitch.
are you gonna? Oh, you can't wear a wig. You said you won't. I was like, can you please wear a blonde wig for the review?
No, I can't.
Okay.
You know what? I'm strongly considering this year as the year, and then I'm gonna film myself trying to go into Spirit Halloween, and also continue. Maybe I should just have someone with me to continue the vlog when they have to call the ambulance and then like take me to the hospital.
Yeah, when he's like when you're throwing up, when you're vomiting uncontrollably and shit.
Yeah, like
you know what? That's all another thing, guys. Like, continue to get us views, man. So this man can spend 24 hours of his life or in October, just like a full working day of just trying to go into the Spirit Halloween store. He can't go to work. He has to. That's a full 8 hours of trying to muster the courage to go in there. You know.
Right? They're just gonna like as I'm walking in. All right, guys, I'm going in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be having to like not eat or drink anything for like 48 hours or something.
What if you got a little like, you know, I'll drive you there. You just keep pounding like beers or something until you get a good buzz. Does that help you get in there?
Let me just say this. If then yes, we'll do that. We're gonna plan in October for me to go into Spirit Halloween, but we're gonna go drink first, and then I'm gonna go into there. That might help. Might lower hinder my any brain activity going on to where I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just like, woo, I'm just walking in there, and then I lock eyes with a wig and a mask. And I'm just like, blah. Who knows? All right, we'll see you next time.